Welcome back to JB Reviews. I had someone ask me a question, and I never thought about this until they asked it. And it's such a good question, and I figured I wanted to get your guys' thoughts too, because I know how I would answer this question, and it won't help this person out. But I feel as though this can be like a forum, more or less, for the person who asked this question through email. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys a truck at Seiner Buick GMC that they have available in sterling silver. So let me just kind of show you around this truck here, and then we'll jump back into the video. If you are in the market, be sure to reach out to Frank. He's actually the guy that sold me my AT4X. They have this one, and I believe this one is also available. The only difference is the color. This is Thunderstorm, the other one was sterling silver. They're literally the exact same truck in terms of the options. Let's go ahead and just do a quick walk around. I want to show you a few things on it, and then we'll jump back in the video. So here's the window sticker. At the very top is a description with the colors and powertrain. And then this is a short listing of the standard equipment. Be sure to pause it. One good thing about the AT4X is everything comes pretty much standard. Base price is $82,800, and then here are some of the options. Duramax diesel is $94.90, Gooseneck and fifth wheel prep package is $545, and then sterling metallic paint was $495. Destination is $1995 with a total price of $95,325.
And here's the price of the AEV edition package at $9,395. And total price option similarly is $95,530 without the diesel.
Now the only thing I want to show you guys on this truck is something that probably most people don't even care about, but it's just something that I've noticed that's been different from my truck from just last year. My truck is a 2024. So when you look at the kicker sound system, they did restyle these buttons. This is what Frank showed me, but I also noticed that they changed the surround of the grill for the speakers too. So they kind of updated this. Now mine does have the lights, and that's like the only thing that this truck is missing that my truck has. These do come standard, by the way. Now here's the interior. You have the massagers. These are real leather. This is called the Obsidian Rush interior, and same thing goes for all your screens. And this does have the leather wrap for the grab handles, suede on that roof. And here are the numbers on the door. So you guys see the axle ratings. Gross fuel weight rating is 11,350. You cannot get the max trailering package, which would increase it to 11,750. 18x9 wide wheels, and then payload is 2,854 pounds, which is the exact same as my truck. 55 psi for front and rear tires. Alrighty, so you guys just saw how much the Duramax diesel was. So the question was, if you were in the market and you had to choose one option, would it be the Duramax diesel or the AEV edition package? That is such a good question, because the way I would answer that question is I would just get both, because I would want to pick, because I kind of did want an AEV edition until I saw it was 10 grand, almost 10 grand basically. But yes, this is one of those questions where guys are like, I don't want a $105,000, $104,000 truck, so I'd rather just pick one or the other. Now let's kind of go through the Duramax. I have not seen an AT4X show up at the dealerships that I go to with a gas engine. All AT4Xs that I've ever filmed had diesels. And I'm willing to bet you that I will probably never see one at this dealership, because in this demographic here in Utah, most people can afford these expensive trucks, I guess. I mean, I own my own business, so I put these in my business name, so it gives me a tax write-off. So that's why I do it. But if it were coming down to just doing this in my personal name, I don't know if I could spend this kind of money. And I probably would be in the predicament this guy is in, trying to save that extra $10,000 where I can. Now the reason why obviously everyone wants a diesel is because they sound good, they have insane power, and there's this case that they have better resale value. Now I can agree, depending on where you live at in the country, a gas HD may not perform good in your market. So it might be better to just go with a diesel, even if you don't want one. And that's what sucks. Now, obviously, the gas LAT for 2024 got the 10-speed Allison behind it. So the steps are a little bit closer. And I feel as though if you are towing, that transmission is going to keep you in the broadband. Now, I wish that they would have increased the horsepower, but they're still running with the 401 horsepower and 464 pound-feet of torque, I believe. The torque's not bad. The torque is pretty torquey engine. But when you consider it's only direct injection, that's the other thing I probably would consider as well. And so, for me personally, I think I would get the diesel just because of that. I owned an LAT, and because I am higher above elevation, for me personally, I didn't like the way it performed. It towed my trailer fine, but it didn't get great gas miles. At least for me, it didn't. I felt as though I was getting, even on the highway, about 14-ish, running about 75, 80 miles an hour. And in the city, which I was doing more of because I had a gas truck, I was doing about 11. So that's what you can expect with the gas engine. And keep in mind, if you get the AEV edition package, well, your truck's gonna be that much heavier too. Now, again, most people will probably say in the comment section, get the diesel. But here's the case for the AEV package. Now, here are the pros. If you get the AEV edition, I think personally, the truck will hold its value a little bit better because most of the trucks getting delivered to dealerships don't have that AEV package. So, in my opinion, having that kind of keeps you kind of, you know, rare. Kind of. There's a good bit of both trucks out there, but most of them coming to dealerships have it without that AEV package. And it's because with the diesel and that, you're at $105,000. And I don't think guys today want to spend that kind of money on a truck, especially right now in the market that we're in. So if I were looking at this truck and I chose the AEV package, I would like the fact that it has the better ground clearance. Again, if you're planning on going off-road, and the guy that emailed me says he plans on taking the truck off-road, I think his family has like a farm, and they do have some areas where they can kind of go off-road and have some fun. So for him, he said the AEV edition kind of makes sense because it does, you know, give you the better bumpers and it has the better skid plates. Now let me talk to the skid plates for a second. I took this truck off-road. I have the standard skid plates. Now my skid plates don't cover as much underbody as the AEV edition does. So unfortunately, mud got under my skid plates. Well, I had to take them down. So I did see the benefit of having the bumpers and those skid plates up front. The cool thing about the AEV edition skid plates, like in the center under the framing, is they are stamped, so the mud kind of falls through if you do go into some deep mud. Whereas again, with me, I have a smaller skid plate there for my transfer case, so I had to remove that one as well because even though I sprayed it out with my power washer, it didn't get all the mud out. So having the stamped skid plates underneath do actually help protect, and it makes it easier to clean all that mud out because you don't want to be lugging around a bunch of extra weight on your truck. You don't have to. So that's the benefit of having that AEV package. Now, I do like the wheel design better on the AEV edition because they are blackout, and it just looks better overall in my opinion. Now, the only negative thing about the AEV edition is you only get skid plates, which you already have, and they change off the wheel to something just a little different in style and black. The bumpers, and then they embroider the headrests, and you get the benefit of just having a really cool looking truck. I'm just gonna be honest, I mean, I know that might sound like, you know, vanity, but I mean, I do like the way the AEV edition looks compared to my truck. 100%. When you see my truck and then see an AEV, it almost makes you kind of wish you got the AEV edition. So me personally, I like the idea of getting it from the factory. Now, I know some people are going to say in about a few months you're going to be able to buy the same bumpers, the same skid plates for probably half the price. And that is very true. That is something that you have to consider, guys. You have to consider, you know, at some point you'll be able to get those bumpers and everything aftermarket. And so you can save the extra money. But you have to understand too, those bumpers will not add any value to your truck compared to the AEV edition. Now, something else to consider is payload. I don't know what the payload would be with the AEV and gas truck, But as you guys saw, it's $28.54 with just a diesel. I'm willing to bet you if you were to get the AV edition with the gas truck, you probably would be around the same, if not a little bit. You might be around 3,000 pounds. So you might pick up a couple hundred pounds more payload, because obviously the diesel engine is heavier, it has more components. So you do benefit from skipping the diesel and going to the gas and AV in that regard. But in some cases, if you are looking at getting both options, you're gonna lose probably another 300 pounds of payload compared to the truck I just showed you guys. So you have to keep that in mind as well. So if I had to pick one option, if I had the opportunity, like if my wife told me, hey, our budget is $95,000. You guys saw the base price of the truck, right? It was like $82,000, okay? So once you add on the AEV edition and destination, you're just over $90,000. Now, the dealerships are discounting the trucks now, so that is a benefit, right? But again, if you still want to stay within a certain number and you have to pick one, I think I would pick the Duramax diesel. Because personally, as I mentioned, I would probably just add the bumpers aftermarket and then just add the front skid plate, because I think you need that front skid plate for the bumpers to work. And depending on how much they cost, I mean, I could just buy the front bumper and not the rear, because I actually personally like the steps built into the bumper on my truck now currently. So in my opinion, this might make more sense for some people too, to just get the front bumper, and then you still save that extra cash and you have your diesel, because you can always add the skid plates, the bumpers, and everything else. You can't add the diesel after the fact. So that's just something else you have to consider. And I think some people are probably going to say that in the comment section, which is why I said it now. I think that if it really came down to it, the diesel makes more sense for most people. I know people aren't really towing a lot. Like I do tow, and sometimes we plan on doing more cross-country towing, and I would prefer to do that with a diesel versus a gas truck all day long. Not because the gas truck's not capable, but because getting diesel towing a trailer, it's just easier for me. So I hope this was helpful. I thought it was a really good, question, and I wanted to have a conversation with you guys about it, because instead of me replying to his email, I figured I would just, just share it with you guys. But I want to know you guys' thoughts, so be sure to let me know down below what you think, if you would pick the AEV edition or if you would pick the diesel. I know most people are going to say diesel, but again, I think the AEV edition will bring value to your truck, because it is a package that gets added on. And so if you go to trade in your truck, it's going to account for it. But if you were to add the bumpers and everything on the truck after the fact, they mean absolutely nothing to the dealership. I mean, unless you're selling it privately, the person buying it might pay extra for it. But if you're going to trade your truck in, which most people do, it's not going to add any value. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are. And be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. See you guys soon.